Hey Bill, can you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Earth is a sphere and not flat? Because I have a lot of Facebook friends who say that it's flat, and I just can't convince them. Thank you.
You just can't convince your friends that the Earth is a sphere? Could that be because they think you're dishonest? Like, for instance, at the start of this very video, you showed this, the moon, and this, the moon through a red filter. But you did it quickly, so people might be left under the impression that the red one was Mars. So let's have a look. This is your intro.
Is the Earth flat or round?
Look, this is what it looks like when I'm suppressing laughter of ridicule.
It's round. Okay, now let's see. How do we go about proving that?
Well, measuring some curvature would be a good idea, or perhaps measuring some spin.
Go to the seashore. Go to a seashore and figure out why you can't, if you live on the East Coast, figure out why you can't see Spain from the East Coast of North America.
Why would you see Spain from the east coast of North America?
Just go to the middle of the Mississippi River and look south. Why can't you see the Louisiana? Why can't you see New Orleans? What's the problem there?
Ah, I see. The problem there is a thing called the horizon.
Well, then climb a tower or go to the top of a hill or a mountain and you'll see a little farther.
That's right. In fact, you'll see much farther than you would if you were on a sphere.
But you will not see to the other side of the Earth, places we know to exist. For example, I've been to London. I can tell you, other people have. I've been to Vancouver, British Columbia. And you cannot see Vancouver, British Columbia from Boise, Idaho, let alone from New York City or Toronto or what have you.
Oh, that darned horizon. There's no escaping it.
Just start there. Then if you'd like, look at pictures from space where you see the Earth as a sphere.
Yes, you can show them pictures from space. Pictures like these. Earth from a special perspective. Earth from a different perspective. Oh, look, that's Naboo, I believe. Oh, that's Earth. That's Dune. Yeah, that's Dune. And that's Dune as well. And that's Naboo again. And that's Naboo. And this one is Ilum. Oh, that's not the Earth. It's Ilum. Let's go through them again. Star Wars image. NASA image. Star Wars image. NASA image. Dune image. Dune image. Star Wars image. Star Wars image. NASA. No, Star Wars.
Those pictures are not faked. And I'll tell you, just if nothing else, here's why you can tell they're not faked. Just to create the paperwork that NASA has created, for NASA in this one case, just the paperwork to send anything out in space, to send people into orbit or to send them to the moon, that amount of paperwork would make faking it prohibitively expensive. No one could afford to generate that much documentation.
Let's pretend Bill Nye didn't just try to mask over the obviously CGI Earth images, but let's instead watch Bill Nye as he leans forward earnestly to convince us that it would be more expensive, more prohibitive to create paperwork for non-existent missions than it would be to create paperwork and the expensive missions. So that's the equivalent to saying it would be more expensive to print off a list of ingredients than it would be to print off a list of ingredients, purchase those ingredients, and pay for somebody to prepare the meal. Absurd.
Then the other thing, if you want to get into this, if you're really serious, if your friends are really serious, have them get on a boat or a ship and go out at sea, and you'll notice you can't see infinitely far.
Oh, Bill, you forgot to say horizontally. What if they were looking up? Could they see infinitely far then? No, of course not. Nobody can see to infinity.
Furthermore, if you get into it enough, pick up a book about navigation or go online and learn about navigation. A very, very important thing you have to take into account when you try to navigate the ocean from a ship or a boat is how high you are off the sea surface. The higher you are off the sea surface, the farther you can see, the farther away the horizon is.
And just what exactly would you expect to happen on a flat plane? Do you think on a flat plane you can see less far the higher you go?
Oh my. Now, this discovery that the world is round was made it was published in 1540. Now, I'm concerned, it was Copernicus. I'm concerned it might have been 1530, but it was about then. It was in the 16th century that the Earth was shown to be a ball.
Oh, in the 16th century. So it was a long time ago and everybody believed it, huh? Well, why would anybody not believe it when at that same period, those who brought us the ball also brought us this? The Inquisition. Oh, look at all the different ways of killing people who didn't believe whatever the church taught. Now let's remember, the church started teaching that the earth was a ball. So you could either argue with them and say you didn't believe them, in which case you were a heretic, and you got killed with these kinds of things, designed mostly by the archbishops and popes. Yes, these killing things and torture things, they were designed for people who didn't believe what the church taught. Oh, look at them. Oh, that looks lovely. Oh, look at that. What about, oh, everybody's favourite, the pear, to be inserted in the vagina of a woman, to split her open, basically, to rip her apart. Or the throat, either the vagina or the throat, but it was to kill them. And this would be for not believing that what the church taught was true. So, this is what the Roman Catholics brought us at the same time as they brought us the globe. They've been doing this for centuries, by the way. They'd already killed the most vociferous unbelievers. This was when they were mopping up, when they were just making sure that nobody questioned the church. So let's have a look a little bit closer. Oh, look. Lovely. Oh, yes, this, especially lovely for ripping women's breasts off. Now, do you think you're on a globe? Yes or no? Do you like your breasts? And, in case anybody's wondering, yes, it did happen for well after 1542. This was still going on. In fact, have a look. Have a look at all these names and have a look at the dates. There are some out there who would have you believe it wasn't as severe as people have made out, and it didn't go on for as long as people made out. Well, the actual figures are different. You'll see here the years. It went on for well after Copernicus brought us the globe on behalf of the Catholics. And if you're Catholic, then this is your church. This is the heritage of your church. So maybe start thinking about whether Jesus would have agreed with these torture devices or not. Pause if you want to pick any specific page, or go and have a look yourself. It's not happy reading, but never mind all that. Let's hear an apologist called Bill Nye and what he has to say.
But it was known to be a ball by a lot of other people before Copernicus in the Western world, what we now call the Western world, Western Hemisphere?
The Western Hemisphere starts west of Greenwich. Copernicus lived east of Greenwich. That's the Eastern Hemisphere.
The ancient Greeks noticed that from time to time, the earth casts a shadow on the moon.
It was the Persians who were even further east than Greece. And that's not to mention the Chinese, all of whom noticed eclipses.
This is a lunar eclipse where the moon gets in the shadow of the earth. The sunlight is being blocked by the earth, the moon's on the far side of the earth. And that shadow is always curved. And the only shape that always produces a curve, no matter what the orientation. That is to say, whether you're standing in Greece at night, or if you're standing then 12 hours later in Buenos Aires at night. The curve, the shadow is always curved. So the ancient Greeks knew that the earth was a ball. They didn't know to the degree of the size of it, to the degree of precision we know now. And you guys, come on. Everybody watches newscasts. You all use mobile phones. You all see airplanes fly around. You all go to see Ed Sheeran in concert one day in London, another day in Melbourne, Australia. This all depends on our fundamental understanding of the size of the earth and its shape with extraordinary precision.
All of the technology he has just mentioned is actually owed to engineers, not theoretical physicists, and travel is based on experience. They were travelling before they thought it was a ball, including flying. Hence the Nazca lines and the Indian Virmanas. And they all thought it was flat.
And if you want to get into it, the earth isn't quite a sphere. It's a little bleh. Its spin is a little bleh, stretched it, made it slightly oblate, as the saying goes.
Oblate, or oblate, is not a saying, it's an adjective. Funnily enough, it's also an adjective to describe a layman living in a monastery under a modified rule and without vows, or a member of one of several Roman Catholic communities of men or women. Oblate. Dictionary.com.
This is all susceptible to analysis, but spend some time learning about navigation. Tell your friends to spend some time learning about navigation. Navigation's changed the world, by the way. What are you wearing? You're wearing stuff that came from another part of the world on a ship. It didn't get here by magic. It got here through science.
So it was not by magic, it was through science. Now I suppose the fish and the birds who navigate here, maybe they did an online navigation course, and that's how they got here, because they can't have used magic or science.